People hate new ideas. They beat up Ignaz Semmelweis. They killed Galilei. They crucified Jesus. And me? They hated me for trying to bring a little good in the world. You know, I really didn't think people were gonna be that up in arms. I mean, I knew some people were gonna be opposed, but I thought it'd be a fair ratio of like 2 to 1, you know? Some people would agree, most would kinda be on the fence, and the ones adamantly against it would be resting on the bottom with their upvotes resting in the negatives. I never imagined the majority of R196 to be so viciously against it. I expected the people of R196 to go past the surface level. Expected them to be more open-minded, considering how their thing is accepting wayward forms of thought. I never expected them to be so shallow, but now I can see I thought wrong. Very, very wrong. I see I have to make a video explaining myself, my points, and clearing away the myriad misconceptions. So let's begin. If you're watching this video, I'm gonna assume that you've read the comic/Reddit post already. I'll link it in the description so you can read it if you haven't. There are 3 ways I could go about explaining why I made the comment. First way, I made the concept in response to something my friend told me. I was half joking when I said it. I wasn't really thinking about the thing as I was typing, but I just came out and I kind of agreed with my own idea. She was complaining about not being able to sleep at proper times, which she's talked about before, and it always made me feel a little bad. For context, I usually sleep early. I do this because I don't like the thoughts I have when staying up late, but it also serves the purpose of dividing myself from the apparently universal experience of near-daily sleep deprivation. So being like this, I feel a bit sad for her circadian rhythms, and I thought about how much I'd hate it, and how much I'd want it to be fixed to any means necessary, which is all to explain how it got in me to say what I said to her. Second way, I've always been fixated on the idea of control, especially self-control, because self-control lends itself easily to discipline. Let me explain how that applies to the mouse training. Starting from biggest to smallest component, the big friend is the outside motivation. They are the one who care for you enough to administer the self-improvement process. Of course, you have to be the one who decides to change, but it's more effective to have something pushing you. The big friend applies the carrot and stick method, though I place more emphasis on the stick part when it comes to discipline/training, because I believe it's more effective. See, if you tell someone who's especially unmotivated to do a task for a reward, they can just escape the feeling of urgency to do the task with the reasoning that the prize/reward for doing the task is something they can live without, and find it better to randomly disperse the rewards at the end of particularly strenuous tasks, because they'll associate doing a task with pleasure without expecting a reward/boon. In my eyes, the stick method is effective for people who are especially unproductive, because they have a thing to run away from. It's best not to talk to them or make eye contact with them. I'd even say that the big friend should cover their face. The logic being that the mouse friend will start to see it less as an action someone is doing to them, and more so just a natural progression that comes out of not doing an assigned task. And what all that results in is the mouse friend associates very visceral bad things while doing something they're supposed to do. The idea is they won't be released till it's made clear that they'll carry this idea into the real world. How that will be done is through extending the period indefinitely. When the program begins, the mandate of the task will be lenient and sort of lax. Then progressing, big friend will be stricter over the chores, have them done in the exact time asked, big tasks arranged and told ahead of time, and small ones littered throughout the day, instantaneously. Punishments will be harsher for smaller and smaller misdoings and less than desirable behavior, like doing something a bit later than the time demanded, not doing a task at all, getting distracted during a task, doing the tasks in the wrong order. Rewards will be given at the end and will feel more well-earned. After some time, the big friend will remove themselves from the punishment/reward system entirely, along with also stopping to tell the mouse friend what to do. At this point, the friend is expected to do the chores herself. Also at this point, the setting is made more open. Before it was the big friend controlling the entire process of getting mouse friend to do tasks, from punishing them to administering their reward and enrichment time. But now the spaces for that are connected. It's up to the friend to make themselves achieve the same level of productivity as before, while also being able to control themselves in the midst of free access to the enrichment things. How the mouse friend does this in its time of pseudo-freedom/free will be observed by Big Friend. If they achieve the same level of productivity in this duration, she will be set free, but if not, then the whole program restarts. It will go on repeat until the mouse friend changes. Now, there's a big elephant in the room I have to acknowledge. Some of you more astute observers might have noticed a consensus within the replies to the comic, a certain idea that some of them seem to carry. I guess I was sort of asking for it regarding the panel I added, but I really don't think those parts were a big enough part of the comic to justify being henpecked this much about it being a sex thing. Like, I get that part was shocking, but really, I don't think it was that bad. Relative to the other stuff I put there, and the whole general thing and the premise of training your friends, I think it's about equal level to all that. I think it's a reasonable extension of the idea of control. I don't perceive it as a sex thing because I'm not getting any sexual pleasure out of seeing them not doing it. And I'm specifically restricting the act of self-pleasure for them. So I don't know where the sexual gratification is coming from. Some people posited that I get gratification from denying them that act. And I have to admit that is kind of a fair assumption. But lust denial is kind of one of the most effective ways to change behavior. That sort of pleasure someone could give to themselves at any time. Sort of pleasure could have you overjoyed, ecstatic, or relaxed. You don't need anything but yourself to do it, and you could do it with minimal effort. To take this away from them, in an environment where they don't have any sort of device for entertainment, they're taking away all opportunity for quick hits of dopamine and happiness. The only roads for pleasure and enjoyment are the ones you, the big friend, make out for them. And since we already established that the big friend's main job is to keep the mouse friend productive, it's pretty self-explanatory how that will go. So there, that's my defense of myself in that controlling masturbation thing. Say whatever you like about this explanation. All I know is that I made myself clear and I don't get any gratification out of masturbation denial. Other than the accusations that this comic is a sex thing, there are some other points in the comments that I want to refute. Number 1, I want to control my friends. Yeah, I want to control them, just at first, but that isn't for me. I'm just trying to control them to control themselves. Number 2, I'm insane. I'm not insane. I don't think I'm insane. I'm just really into the idea of being able to control your own habits. Okay, imagine being one of those people who can't wake up and sleep at proper times. Procrastinate for every task. Sink filled with dirty dishes and floor grimed with dust because they couldn't get themselves to do the cleaning. Is it insane to try to improve them? To try to help them? I have a size kink/giantess kink. I don't even know what that is. Okay, I talked about this idea a little bit with my friends over the past few months, and they've said some really funny things I find always to not mention in the video. I wouldn't survive the Nuremberg trials. I sound like a rapist. I sound like someone from Unit 731. I sound like Joseph Mengele. I sound like a doctor from the 90s encountering a person with ADHD for the first time. Making this video, I've put closure on the whole mouse sex debacle. Also, in doing that, I hope people will stop commenting, "Hey, is this the mouse sex guy?" under all my subsequent posts. I really don't want my journey online to be followed by this one thing. So, yeah.